Black curtains. How like a shroud they are. Forgive me, Hastings. The melancholy overcomes me often of late. I thank you for joining me on this night. The blackout, the air raid sirens. It is not a night to be alone, n'est-ce pas?
I couldn't agree more, old chap.
I have the bonne idée. How we will pass the hours until we know for certain if tonight at last the bombers come. You have asked me to tell you of the murder that occurred most recently at the Smuggler's Rest Hotel on Seadraft Island. I know I have revealed little beyond the fact that Poirot was able to use their little grey cells to bring the affair to a satisfactory conclusion. Yet the newspapers have said nothing. To think that a case of Poirot's does not merit at least a single paragraph is yet one more outrage I lay at the feet of Herr Hitler. He gobbles up space in the newspaper the way he gobbles up so much of Europe, including my own beloved Belgium. But tonight, I propose to take our minds off of the horrors of war. I will not only share with you the events as they happened, but more. You have often complained in your very charming British way, oh so polite, that Poirot withholds important facts and clues from you, so that you have no opportunity to solve yourself the crime.
It's true.
Bon, I have applied the grey cells, and a solution has presented itself. Here is your opportunity, mon ami. I will tell the story so vividly to you that you will think you are there yourself. You will direct Poirot's every action. Every fact, every clue will be there in front of your eyes. I will eliminate any characters without a part in our little drama. The hotel? It was not as understaffed as you will see it. In the same spirit, I set the stage. Oh, do not concern yourself with missing rooms, Hastings. Only those locations of importance will be presented. There will be no distractions. You will solve the case even as I did. Oh, peut-être. With a little hint here and there from the magical device you see there on that table. But no doubt, it will not be necessary.
Magical device?
It is called the Finger of Suspicion. It was given to me by a wizard, someone for whom I did a small favor last year in Manchester.
A wizard, eh?
Bien, sir. All you need to do is place one of these cards in the center of the machine. They each represent one of the players in our story. I will wave my hands above it so, utter the secret incantation, and it will point you in the right direction.
Well, for starters, it's complete rot. I know you, Poirot. If anyone has a more practical, clear-eyed view of how this world works, I haven't met him. You don't believe in magic. If you want to choose this method of giving me hints, I won't stop you. It'll be a treat to see you cavorting about like a stage prestidigitator. But I suspect the hints will somehow be coming from you.
If you are so certain it is nothing but hocus pocus, then would you be willing to try and solve the mystery of the Finger of Suspicion, as well as the murder on Seadraft Island?
Absolutely.
Very well. I will give you 7 clues at times of my choosing throughout the evening. Perhaps when you have all 7, you will be able to see the true genius behind the Finger of Suspicion. Here is your first clue. Power.
Power? The power of magic?
I give you the clues, Hastings. Do not expect me to explain them as well. Explore my office first. Equip yourself for your journey into the past. Come to me when you are ready. In the meantime, I will tell you 3 little stories to whet your appetite.
Ye gentlemen of England, who live home at your ease, it's little do you think of the dangers of the sea. When we receive our orders, we are obliged to go on the main to proud Spain, where the stormy winds do blow. saints preserve me!
Make of these stories what you will, mon ami. They are each related most closely to the events on Seadraft Island that you and I are about to explore. Keep them in mind. Explore my office first. Equip yourself for your journey into the past. When you are ready to begin your investigation, tell me. My story, it will commence, and you will have your chance to solve the mystery.
Things are progressing exactly as I expected. I'm ready, Poirot.
I am sorry, Hastings. You have not obtained everything you may need for the investigation. Do you have something to carry the clues in? A notebook with which to record the facts? The stopwatch, should time prove to be an important factor? The picture of us that will be of more than sentimental value?
Give me a few moments more, if you will.
As you wish. A wise choice, Hastings. With this stopwatch, you will be able to determine the time it would take the suspects to make their way to the scene of the murder.
I'm ready, Poirot.
You need only to touch your portrait, and we are off. Notice how the portrait is now of Poirot. When you wish us to return to my flat, you have only to touch my portrait. No. The door, it will not budge. Pardon, mademoiselle. What is your name?
Gladys, sir. Oh, sir. If it's about the towels, the delivery hasn't come yet from the mainland. And that Will is ever so unreliable.
There is no hurry. Poirot has completed his toilette.
Well, if it's the bed, I'll get to it when I can. There's so much to do.
Do not trouble yourself. You seem out of sorts. Is something wrong?
Oh, no, sir. No, not really.
There. What is it?
It's that Will Jenks, if you must know.
You seem quite angry with this Will Jenks.
Will? Oh, he thinks quite a bit of himself, he does. Just because a girl might go with him to the films in Kingsbridge or have a bit to eat at the local, he thinks he's got her wrapped around his little finger. Thinks he can do whatever he likes when she's not around.
Is there another girl?
He says no, but I've seen her with him at the garage and walking in the high street. And she's still a child, too. But I won't mention names. It would cost me my job.
I am sure he will see the error of his ways, mademoiselle. Be patient.
Huh.
What can you tell me of Seadraft Island?
Only that I wouldn't stay around here after dark.
Why not?
There's a ghost. Old Tom Cutter's ghost. A smuggler and a pirate. Murdered he was. Shot down by government agents after his gold.
You have seen this ghost?
I haven't, but many have. He haunts the pub here on the island what's closed now.
That will do for now, madame.
Ah, Mr. Poirot. Good morning. All settled in, are you?
Yes, Mrs. Castle, thank you. I am looking forward to my little holiday from crime.
Anything I can help you with?
A most beautiful island. Where can I learn more of its history?
That brochure will introduce you to the colourful past of Seadraft Island and Leathercombe Bay. Once you've studied that, you'll probably have more questions. I'm from London myself, but most of our staff are local. Perhaps they can help you, and the villagers have all sorts of wonderful stories.
Have the coastal evacuations affected you yet?
As you can see from the register, our two largest parties have gone. In the past few weeks, the Smuggler's End pub here on the island has closed, and Leathercombe Bay is almost a ghost town. Every day I expect Colonel Weston to order the hotel closed as well. It's only a matter of time, I'm afraid.
Who else is staying here at present?
You are welcome to check the register if you wish, Mr. Poirot. Perhaps you'll find someone you know.
I shall not keep you any longer, Mrs. Castle. Merci.
If you need anything more, I'll be in my office.
We cannot search the office when its owner stands before us?
Was there something else, Mr. Poirot?
Is the hotel safe at the disposal of guests?
Of course. We'll be happy to store any of your valuables.
Have you been the manager here long?
Only a few months. Not quite the situation I was hoping for, and it won't last much longer thanks to the war.
Are there any golf courses nearby on the mainland? Hastings, Poirot does not play their golf. Remember well who you are.
Sorry, old man.
I will not impose upon you further, madame.
Mr. Poirot, there was one thing.
Oui, madame?
It's such a small matter, I feel silly bringing it to the attention of a gentleman with your reputation.
Do not let the reputation of Poirot cause you to hesitate in your inquiry.
Well, my wire recorder has gone missing. I used to dictate all my letters for a girl in the village to type up. She's learning to type, so she brings her own typewriter. I need only supply the paper.
When was the wire recorder taken?
Sometime on the evening of the 19th.
Do you lock your office?
There has never been any need. I lock the safe, of course. That is where all the valuables are kept.
Did anything else out of the ordinary happen on the day the recorder went missing?
Let me see. Well, that was the day Arlena Stewart arrived. A celebrity such as she causes quite a stir.
I am not sure what I can do, but I will be happy to keep my eyes and ears open, madame.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Poirot.
A wire recorder? Those things are huge. Shouldn't be difficult to track down.
Pardon, madame? I suggest we wait until Mrs. Castle is no longer present before searching her office.
Well, Poirot, this will surely prove useful. I'll copy the valid information into my journal. I say, the latest number of Motor Enthusiast magazine, Poirot. What a stroke of luck! I've been looking out for this one.
Sorry, sir, the bar won't be open till 11.
I am merely making the morning constitutional, young man. What is your name?
Henry, sir.
What can you tell me of my fellow guests, Henry?
Well, I don't want to gossip, but our Lena Stewart, the actress, is staying here. And there's a Miss Rosamond Darnley in the dining room. I understand she's a famous dressmaker or something.
Are you from Lethercombe Bay?
No, sir. I live in Kingsbridge. Lethercombe Bay is a bit quiet for my taste, especially now they've begun the evacuations.
How long have you worked at the hotel?
3 years. Don't know what I'll do when they close her down.
How do you like working here, Henry?
Well, it's very nice, usually. Of course, Mrs. Castle, the manager, is something of a tartar. I expect that's because she's new and wants to establish her authority. Come to think of it, Gladys hasn't been herself lately. The first floor maid? Look, I'm no gossip, but I think she's had a row with her young man, Will Jenks. I expect it's nothing, really. Everyone's a bit tense these days.
I will leave you to your work, Henry.
Thank you, sir.
It appears to be an empty bottle of the grenadine. Forgive the intrusion, mademoiselle.
Oh,
I did not mean to startle you.
not at all. I must have been miles away. You're Monsieur Poirot, aren't you? I understood you joined us last evening. I'm Rosamond Darnley.
Enchanté. What brings you to Seadraft Island, Mademoiselle Darnley?
A short rest before the fall season.
But of course, you are the proprietress of Rosemont, the fashion house. Your designs are first-rate. Hastings, what does Poirot know of such things?
I'm surprised you are interested in women's fashions, Monsieur Poirot.
Sometimes I surprise even myself, mademoiselle. It is very quiet here, n'est-ce pas?
I don't mind the quiet. There were a number of children here until a few days ago. They were evacuated. Ken's daughter Linda is here, but she's 16. Hardly a child anymore. I've had one odd incident. A small crime, even.
Sometimes the small crimes are but appetizers to a main course.
I brought a typewriter down to catch up on some correspondence. It disappeared from my room the day after I arrived.
Have you been here on the island long?
Just a few days. It was a spur-of-the-moment sort of thing.
Did you report the theft?
No, my jewelry and over £20 in my purse were untouched. I suspect someone simply borrowed the typewriter and will return it when they're finished with it. Rude, perhaps, but possibly not a crime at all.
What day did you find the typewriter missing?
The 20th.
Did anyone take an interest in the typewriter when you arrived?
Come to think of it, a man named Major Barry did make some comment, but I rather felt he was simply looking for an excuse to talk to me.
Good day, madame. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. You wish to eavesdrop, Hastings? As you wish. We will listen to their conversation.
Sightseeing is all very well, and I like to do a place thoroughly. But a quiet spot by the seaside where I can just sit and do my knitting is so relaxing, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
And this is such a picturesque spot. Quite out of the world and at the same time very comfortable and most exclusive in every way, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
We have heard all the... This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. I did not mean to frighten you, my friend.
You didn't, and I'm not.
The pub, it is open?
No.
You have the binoculars, I see.
What of it?
They are for the watching of birds?
Yes, I'm very fond of birds.
Are you staying at the hotel?
Are you?
Mais oui. Hercule Poirot at your service.
My name is North.
If he's a birdwatcher, I'm a penguin, Poirot.
Shall we follow him? It is up to you.
He's up to something, Poirot. Are you going to let him get away?
My shoes are of the finest leather, buffed to a perfect sheen. I will not be subjecting them to sea water.
Take them off, then.
No. If you wish to cross the causeway, summon the sea tractor. I will not wait.
Oh, for pity's sake.
Hello there.
Good morning, mademoiselle. I am Hercule Poirot.
Emily Brewster. Pleasure to meet you.
You rest from your exertions?
No, I teach ballet to a lot of energetic young girls. It would take more than a little row around this tiny island to wear me out. I don't know if you noticed, but I found what looks like the carving of a dart on a rock on the path there when I came down to bathe. It appears to be quite old. I was curious to see if there were any more carvings along here.
And have your investigations met with success?
Nothing so far. The sea may have worn any away, I suppose.
Are you enjoying Seadraft Island?
To tell you the truth, Mr. Poirot, this was a necessary trip for me. I lost a very close friend several months ago. I'm here to try and come to terms with her death, and to reclaim my life if I can. Forgive me for being so frank to an innocent question. I'm not sure why I said that.
Not at all, mademoiselle. People often find they can confide in me.
Of course. You're that Hercule Poirot.
There is more than one?
I've heard of you, of course. I apologize, I didn't make the connection at once.
Have you been here at the hotel long?
9 or 10 days.
Have you formed any impressions of our fellow guests?
Are you down here on a case, Mr. Poirot?
No. For a short holiday. Forgive me if the question was impertinent.
Oh, I don't mind. Let's see. Horace Blatt is a wealthy businessman, of the sort one tries to avoid in London. Loud and boorish. I think he finds us all rather boring. The Redferns seem like a nice couple, but I've noticed a tension between them. If you want my opinion, Arlena Marshall is at the bottom of it. She's one of those women men seem drawn to, and other women tend to hate.
You choose to bathe here instead of at the beach?
Yes, I do so every day. It's just a few steps from the hotel. And there's this one gentleman, Major Barry, who seems to take a rather obvious interest in women in bathing attire. Makes my flesh crawl. So I try to avoid the beach.
Good luck in your investigation.
Thank you.
Good morning, mademoiselle. May I join you?
I would be delighted. It's Madame Redfern, by the way. Christine. You must be Hercule Poirot, the famous detective.
I am he?
Modesty, old man.
You may have reason to be modest, Hastings. Poirot does not.
The old place was buzzing last night when you arrived.
Ah, it is a perfect day for sketching.
Yes, indeed. I'm trying to capture that sailboat down there.
I see it. The man at the tiller seems quite good.
That's Horace Blatt. He's a guest here. He splits his time mainly between the bay and the bar.
A red sail is unusual, is it not?
Yes, quite.
What brings you to the Smuggler's Rest Hotel?
I'm here with my husband, Patrick.
Damn! Hastings!
It was his idea, really. He's the outdoors type. But I burn so easily, I'm afraid. I must take care.
Our time here may be cut short.
Because of the evacuation, you mean?
Many seaside resorts are already closed.
Yes, that's mainly why I agreed to come. This could be Patrick's last chance for who knows how long.
Where is your husband?
That's him down there, swimming.
You do not swim, Madame Redfern?
No. The man near the equipment shed is George, the bathing beach attendant. That other man in the chair is Major Barry. You'll find him there most days, especially if there are any women swimming.
Major Barry has an eye for the ladies?
Definitely. Bit of a bore too. Full of stories about the army in India. That and his dogs. He apparently has many, many dogs.
What can you tell me about our fellow guests?
Well, there's Emily Brewster. You'll usually find her rowing about the island. Ballet instructor at school in North Taunton, I believe. There's a couple from up north somewhere. Gardeners. She'll talk your ear off. He's rather a dear, really. And Arlena Stewart, of course. You must have heard by now that she is here.
Oh, you know her?
My husband does. I'm afraid that's enough sum for me for a while, Mr. Poirot.
It has been a pleasure, madame. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. Good morning, monsieur.
Capital morning, capital. You must be that detective Johnny who arrived last night. Major Montague Barry, late of His Majesty's army in India.
It is a pleasure, Major Barry. You are on a bathing beach, but you do not bathe, Major?
No, never got the taste for it. The scenery can be quite pleasant, though.
Yes, it is very nice.
Nice? Now? Wouldn't say that. None of the finest sex about. Good-looking fillies, some of them. Where are they all, I wonder?
Have you been at the hotel long?
Couple of weeks. One last hurrah, you might say, before Fritz arrives on our doorstep.
Yes, they are coming very soon now, I think.
Bombs first, of course. Soften us up, or so they think. Not like India. I was there for the start of the Third Afghan War. Now that was war with some honor to it. Those days you could see a man's eyes go dull as you killed him.
How did you come to Seadraft Island?
I show my dogs over in Dartmouth twice a year. Train them, you see. I always told myself I'd stay here once when I got my chance.
Are your dogs here? At the hotel?
Not likely. They're safe at some kennels I found near Exmoor. Had to get them out of London, you see. Wouldn't have stood the bombing, poor beasts.
Do you know anything of the history of this place?
Not much. Heard some rot about Roman orgies way back when. Then some monks decided this would be a wonderful place to make brandy. There's that smuggler Tom Cutter, of course. Gave his name to a cove here on the island. Supposed to still haunt the pub. That's about it.
Any impressions of our fellow guests?
That actress is a fine specimen, no denying. The Redfern lass is not bad, but a bit too pale for my taste. I like 'em with a bit of colour. Miss Darnley, the dressmaker, she's quite attractive in her own way, too.
Enjoy the scenery, Major Barry.
I will, when it arrives.
Morning, sir. I'm afraid the rowboat is out, but I could set you up with a nice rubber float.
No, thank you. Poirot does not float.
Oh, no worries, sir. A bit of exercise would soon help that.
Yes. I see no cause for amusement. You are the beach tender?
That's right, sir. I keep an eye on the equipment, look after the grounds, the tennis court, and so on as well.
Do you enjoy your job?
It's all right. Not much for excitement, and the new manager's ever so strict. Henry the barman, though. He's my mate. Henry makes an excellent cocktail. He makes a superb planter's punch, direct from the Caribbean it is.
Are you from this area?
Born and raised in Lethercombe Bay.
You must know many interesting stories of the area.
You mean Tom Cutter, the ghost, the treasure? Mr. Gardner was quizzing me about old Tom just the other day. Some will tell you it's just stories, but I saw him a few weeks back, white and glistening in the moonlight like he'd risen from the sea.
He was drowned?
Yes, sir. Some rival done him in. You'll hear other accounts, but that's my belief.
How do you know the figure you saw was a ghost?
Well, he disappeared into thin air, didn't he?
Where did you see him?
Outside the Smuggler's End pub well after midnight. He passed inside. I'd had my share of liquid courage, so I follows him. Down into the cellar he goes, so down I go. And what do you think?
He was helping himself to a tankard of grog? Grog? What is grog, Hastings?
Shh. No. Vanished into thin air. Ghosts do that.
How long have you worked here?
Almost 10 years now. But that's all coming to an end.
Why is that?
Got my papers, didn't I? Reporting for duty next week. Navy frogman, that's what I'm going to be.
I will leave you to your duties. Hastings? I swim like the dolphin. I simply do not wish to swim at the present moment. Hastings? I swim... A length of sturdy cord. We have heard all there is to hear. Bonjour, madame. Bonjour, monsieur. I hope I do not disturb you.
Why, of course not. He's not disturbing us, is he, Oakley?
No, darling.
You must be our newest addition. Mr. Hercule Poirot, the famous detective. You recall me telling you he would be joining us, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
I am Mrs. Carrie Gardner. This is my husband, Oakley.
Very pleased to make your acquaintances. Are you enjoying your stay on the island?
Very much. It's so peaceful and relaxing. So far from the cares of the world, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
This is an interesting spot.
Yes, isn't it? Not as much wind, I think, as the terrace above the bathing beach or over at Sanctuary Cove. Oh, look, Oakley. There goes Miss Brewster again. Can't think where she gets her energy.
What business are you in, Monsieur Gardner?
Oakley is retired, Mr. Poirot. He was manager and owner of the Lake District's best-known theatre company.
These days I travel and indulge my passion for collecting rare coins.
Enough of that. I'm sure Mr. Poirot isn't interested in old coins.
Our fellow guests seem most charming.
You think so? Some are, of course. Others, well, I wouldn't like to say, but I was telling Oakley just last evening that Stewart woman is paying quite too much attention to Mr. Redfern, wasn't I, Oakley?
Of course, having run a theatre, I'm well aware that actors aren't like us. They have different standards.
Lower standards.
Yes, darling.
And you should have seen Mr. Marshall and Miss Darnley laughing and joking yesterday. Everyone thought they'd just met, but apparently they are old friends.
I will leave you now. Eh bien, if you insist, we will eavesdrop yet again.
What a funny little Frenchman he is.
Frenchman?
It's hard to believe he could be the wonderful detective they say he is, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
What are you thinking, Hastings? Poirot, he does not climb up and down the ladders?
A sturdy post. A sturdy post.
Hello. You haven't seen a tennis ball in the grass, have you? I had a lob go spectacularly astray.
No, monsieur. I am sorry.
You wouldn't be Hercule Poirot by any chance, would you?
I am Poirot, monsieur.
Kenneth Marshall. That was my wife, Arlena.
She is very charming, Madame Marshall. Hastings, if you embarrass me, we will cease the investigation at once.
My apologies, Poirot. I'll try to remember who I am.
Listen, Poirot. This is a bit of luck finding you here. Something rather distressing has happened. Since our arrival here on Monday, Arlena has received two, what I can only describe as threatening notes.
Do you have the notes?
Well, yes, here they are. Arlena thinks I destroyed them, but I thought I'd better not.
Very wise. One moment, please, while I examine them.
Arlena refuses to take them seriously. She says people are often jealous of her due to her success and her beauty, and it's no more than that. I'm not so sure.
You are right to be concerned. In my experience, Captain Marshall, the hatred to write such notes is one to take very seriously indeed.
Would you have a talk with Arlena and tell her that?
I will do as you ask. How did these arrive?
The first was simply shoved under her door. The second was found on her dressing table. Mr. Poirot, her door was locked.
When did Mrs. Marshall receive these?
That first note was found the morning after we arrived. That would have been August 20th. The second appeared yesterday. Knowing you are investigating has eased my mind enormously.
Captain Marshall, I will do what I can to assist you. But if I am to be successful, I must enjoy your wife's complete cooperation.
I hope you can succeed in convincing her of the gravity of the situation. If you'll excuse me, I have some letters to type.
He has some letters to type?
He seems unaware of the significance of what he has said. How many typewriters can there be on this island?
Seems more likely Miss Darnley's typewriter was borrowed to write the notes.
It is possible.
You knew there might be a real danger to Mrs. Marshall even then.
Yes, my friend. I could feel something in the wind. The way sailors can sense the approaching storm.
Bit of a low spot in the near ad-service court.
It is an unusual wreck for a garden, lad.
It's to keep the clay of the court smooth. And from the look of that clay, it's about time for a good rake.
It is an unusual...
It's to keep the clay of the court smooth. And from the look of that... I imagine this was quite a beautiful structure before it went to pot.
Yes, Hastings. Religion cannot be faulted for its aesthetic, at least. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. From the monastery ruins to Cutter's Cove, it is 12 minutes.
Curious, isn't it? It was an oar, I believe. Planted quite securely in the ground now. I can't shift it. I'm Stephen Lane.
Hercule Poirot.
Ah, the detective. Maybe you have a theory what it's for.
Without more evidence, a deduction is difficult.
Here you go, then. I found these near the edge of the cleared space. Chicken feathers, I believe. I think those stains are dried blood. Suggestive, don't you think?
Perhaps. Do you have a theory about this post and the clearing, Monsieur Lane?
I felt something the moment I arrived on this island, Mr. Poirot. It is especially strong here. I can only describe it as a feeling of evil. More than a feeling, it's almost a physical presence.
Yes, it is very romantic here. It is peaceful. The sun shines, the sea it is blue. But there is evil everywhere under the sun.
There's a quote from Ecclesiastes. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live. Nowadays, nobody believes in evil. Even with what is happening in Europe, they want to think that reason and common sense will prevail. But evil cannot be reasoned with, and it is real. It walks the earth.
What brings you to Seadraft Island, Monsieur Lane?
My health. I was the vicar of a church near Brixham. I became ill. I had to leave my church. I came here to heal among the historic churches and religious ruins of the area, like this old monastery. It dates back to the Middle Ages. The order was most known for producing a passable brandy, I believe, but they never flourished. I expect that was because of the site they chose.
What is wrong with this site?
It isn't the only Christian edifice erected on top of more ancient construction, as I'm sure you know. In this case, there was a Roman temple here, 500 years before the monks arrived. Unfortunately, it is believed it was a temple to Bacchus, a particularly nasty cult notable for debauchery and licentiousness.
Bacchus, eh? That might explain the decent brandy.
I was searching for evidence of the earlier temple when you arrived. I found an opening beneath one of the walls over there, leading down into the earth. But it's blocked by a sizable stone. I was hoping to use this post as a lever, but it's immovable.
What do you think of our fellow guests?
I haven't spent much time with them, I'm afraid. I've been poking around out here, mainly. If I could get some idea of the location of other nearby religious sites, I expect I'd be off to visit those. I think it would do me good after this place. Mr. Poirot, I'm feeling under the weather. These ruins take it quite out of me, I'm afraid. If you'll excuse me.
But of course. This post looks like it was once an ore.
But what is its purpose now?
There is quite a passage down there. We will need something more than good intentions to shift this stone, however. There is quite a passage down there. We will need something more than good intentions to shift this stone, however. There is... No, Hastings. This stage has been carefully prepared. We will not disarrange it until we know why. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder. From Sanctuary Cove to Cutter's Cove, it is 15 minutes. Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Hello.
I am Hercule Poirot, a fellow guest who has arrived only last night.
I'm Linda, Marshall. I'm here with my father and his wife.
What about the pile of brush interests you so?
It is just a pot of brush, isn't it?
You wish it were something else?
I was trying to make a blind so the Gilmores would come closer.
A hunter's blind?
I don't want to hunt them. They're wonderful creatures. I just want to study them.
I would offer my assistance, but Poirot knows nothing of blinds, I am afraid.
Wait, Poirot. That won't do. Did you make a blind for the girl, or didn't you?
That is to say, I might be able to construct one?
You just didn't want to admit you'd done any physical labor.
You know nothing about them, but you can build one.
Yes. Is it not strange how we can feel such contradictory notions sometimes?
Oh, those? I have them all the time. I'm a mass of contradictions.
Guillemots? The birds?
Yes. Do you know about them?
I cannot say I do.
Hold on, Poirot, I do.
Now let the child speak, Hastings.
Oh. Oh, rather.
They are really quite common. These are of the genus Urea algae. They live in great colonies. They look almost like penguins, don't they? They waddle along and bow to one another. And sometimes they purr, almost like kittens.
Good heavens, Poirot. I never thought of it before, but do you know who they remind me of?
They are truly marvelous. They seem to like it here very much.
The government made it a sanctuary for them. That's what this place is called now. Sanctuary Cove.
What brings you to the Smuggler's Rest Hotel?
It was Arlena's idea. That's my stepmother.
Are you enjoying yourself?
No, I hate it. I don't know why we're here.
Ah well, the summer it is almost past. I think your school it will be starting again soon?
Miss Porter's? I suppose so. I wouldn't know.
Miss Porter's? Hastings, the name of this school is familiar to me. There is a newspaper account in my files. What do you think of your fellow guests?
Miss Darnley's nice, and Christine Redfern is too. But I hate her husband.
He is unkind to you?
No, it's my father I care about. He can't see it, but I can. I see what's happening.
It has been a pleasure, mademoiselle.
Can you really make a blind? I'm no good at it at all.
I will try.
Thank you.
Hastings, what have you gotten me into now?
Relax, old man. All we really need is some cord, a couple of sturdy posts, and something to anchor it all with. Tent stakes, for example.
Tent stakes? On an island with a perfectly good hotel. Why would anyone need tent stakes?
Oh, well, I see your point. Perfect. Now let me handle this, Poirot.
As you wish.
Not a bad blind, if I do say so myself. Not a bad blind, if I do say so myself.
Well, this is neither the time nor the place. From the hotel to Cutter's Cove, it is 25 minutes. From the bathing beach to Cutter's Cove via the path, it is 18 minutes.
Patrick, darling, you're such a child.
Man enough. I see what you mean, old man. There is indeed a storm coming.
There is nothing further to be found here. This is neither the time nor the place. This is neither the... This is neither... From the hotel to Cutter's... From the ledges to Cutter's Cove, it is 6 minutes. No. No.
I need a little time to myself. I'm not really in the mood to talk.
Not now. Sorry, sir.
There is nothing further to be found here.
Please don't think me rude, but I need to be alone for a while.
No, Hastings.
I say, that looks like one of those doors you find in old monasteries. What do you call them?
A monk's door, Hastings.
Tightly locked. And the door may be ancient, but that keyhole looks as if it had been recently used.
There is quite a passage down there. There is quite a... That will not help.
Not a bad blind, if...
No, Hastings. This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be... From the tennis court to Cutter's Cove, it is 20 minutes. It is an unusual wreck for a garden lad.
It's to keep the clay of the court smooth. And from the look of that clay, it's about time for a good rake.
Sir, I really can't talk right now.
Quite securely locked, I am afraid. Poirot will not be wading in this story. That must be clear. I swim like the... There is nothing further to be found here.
Beg pardon, sir, but the equipment shed is for my use only. You wouldn't believe it, but someone walked off with an oar a few days ago. What good is a single oar to anyone, I ask you? Sorry, sir, I've got me...
Not now, old chap.
I imagine this was quite a beautiful structure before it...
Yes, Hastings. Religion cannot be faulted for its aesthetic, at least. That will not help.
Not a bad blind, if I do say so myself. I imagine this was...
Yes, Hastings. There is quite a passage down there. There is quite a passage down there. We will need something more than good intentions to shift this stone, however.
Tightly locked. And the door may be ancient.
No, Hastings. This stage has been carefully prepared. We will not disarrange it until we know why and by whom. No, Hastings.
I can't talk now, sir.
We cannot search the office when its owner stands before us? Mrs. Castle would likely throw me out on my ear if I began rifling through her office. We cannot search the office?
I'm afraid I'll need some time to myself.
Phone isn't much good if no one will answer it.
No, Hastings. I will leave her to herself for the time. It is an unusual wreck for a garden, that.
It's to keep the clay of the court smooth. Bit of a low spot in the near at-service court. Bit of a low spot in the near...
This is neither the time nor the place. What are you thinking, Hastings? Poirot, he does not climb up and down the ladders? This is neither the time nor the place. An older ladder that has collapsed? I wonder if anyone was climbing it at the time. older ladder. Well, this is neither the time nor the place. From the ledges to Cutter's Cove, it is 6 minutes. No, we have heard quite enough. Well, this is neither the time nor the place. There is nothing further to be found here.
This document bears further study. I will keep it in my notebook. This looks important. I will keep it in my notebook. This may be important. I'll keep it in my notebook. Interesting. I'll put it in my notebook.
Bien, Hastings. You have made good progress. The principals of the cast have made their entrances. You have explored as much as was possible to me on the morning of August 24th. You have uncovered some of the mysteries that made me uneasy, even then.
Did you already know murder was in the wind?
It was very clearly indicated, mon cher.
Why didn't you stop it?
If a person is determined to commit murder, it is not easy to prevent them. I do not blame myself for what happened. It was inevitable.
What are my next steps?
When you are ready, we will continue our little game. I was able to explore further. Introduce yourself to the residents of Leathercombe Bay. Look for opportunities to assist anyone you can in the village or on the island. They will appreciate your thoughtfulness and will be more likely to help you when you need a favor in return. As before, if you find yourself unable to progress, I will assist with the magic of the Finger of Suspicion.
Yes, uncanny, that gadget. I believe you promised me a second clue to unravel its mysteries.
Quite right, my friend. The clue is lamp.
Power. Lamp. Illuminating.